Hello and welcome to the Winners of Underway Show. I am your host, Trent Clark, CEO of Leadershipity. I am a serial entrepreneur, a public speaker, speaking in over 17 countries. 5-star, baby. And listen, I am a growth coach. I help companies scale up their business, sometimes 2, 3, 5x. Tons of fun, loving working with these experts. And I wrote the book, Leading Winning Teams, right here with Wiley Publishing. Love the book, and you know me as the host of Winners Find a Way. And of course, most people know me because I spent over 13 years coaching in professional baseball in 3 World Series. And today on the Winners Find a Way show, I got my boys, the Gardiner Brothers, Matthew and Michael, joining me live from Nashville. I think, are you guys in Nashville?
Yes, we're in Nashville. Yeah. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, so fun. I have a 5-time world champion Irish dancers. These guys I saw live in Ireland. They were back in the home country for Global Leadership Conference with EO, delivering probably one of the best messages I've seen on innovation and creativity. And you guys did a dance that day to Smooth Criminal by Michael Jackson. Like, I'm like going, man, Irish dancing, I'm expecting some polka BS. I am not expecting anything good here, right? My expectations were a little low, boys, I'll be honest. And then you came out and just brought the house down. It was so money. So I am super excited to have you guys. Thank you for joining me.
Hey, thanks for having us, Coach Trent. It's an honor. Delighted to be here, and excited to. We might even teach you a few steps from Smooth Criminal.
Yeah, I'm gonna need a lot. Like, listen, here when we get to the one thing most people don't know about you, I'll tell you one thing that most people don't know about me. Remind me of that.
Okay, I'll remind you.
Okay, the Gardiner brothers are from Ireland, so here, hence in the Irish dance. Started young, developing. Despite what you think, they are not twins. They are brothers, not twins. And you guys do have probably pull it off as twins, but you are not. Is that fair?
Oh, every day. We get asked literally every single day of our life if we're twins. And then what I love to do, since I'm the older one, I love to ask which one of us do they think is older. And some of the time, Matthew actually gets the vote.
I think it's actually usually people say I'm older.
Yeah, and I'm 3.5 years older, so I take it every single time. Really? The older I get, the nicer that is.
First of all, you might want to preface this. Is it a look thing or is it a maturity thing, Michael? Let's be honest. I mean, where's it at?
It must be a look thing, surely.
I think Michael has a little bit more baby fat, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, baby fat. I think that's what it is.
It can't be a maturity thing. It can't be.
Never.
No. So, man, I mean, this is another thing that people don't recognize is that you guys have hit the world stage. The world got a lot smaller, right? YouTube, you guys have influenced a lot of people. You create fabulous content, amazing. If you have not checked this out, you're going to want to check out their YouTube channel. You guys have over 10 million followers in total across social, and your videos have now been seen by 1.5 billion people. Is that right?
That's right.
Yeah,
somehow
it's crazy to hear that still. Yeah, and it really just started in 2020. So.
Yeah, we had a YouTube page before that, but we never really took it seriously. We always thought we might try it, and Instagram, Facebook, all that. But it really just took off during the pandemic. It was one of those moments of our life was definitely supposed to go in a different direction, and the pandemic, that was a silver lining to us.
Yeah. Let's talk about the different direction for a second. You guys have always competed. You're going to compete for world championships. You guys are talented dancers. That's a big deal. And man, when I think of dance, I think of joy. I just think of it because, man, there's art to it. We obviously in our country here, right, in the United States, you guys have been here for a while. We have Dancing with the Stars, and everybody's going to get on the show and learn some moves and do their thing. And it's like, man, can this athlete or can this actor or whoever dance? It's fun. But dancing's always brought joy. The wedding dance, everybody gets on the floor. Everyone does the lip bite, right, and everything else. And they don't have the talent. And the funny thing is you don't need to have a lot of talent to have joy in dancing, right?
Nope, definitely not.
So I love this. I love this about you guys. And so, but this was not always the path. The path was get a degree, be smart kids. One of you is an architect. One of you is a civil engineer. So you got your fallback if this thing doesn't work out. Is that fair?
Certainly, yeah. Certainly. I think it was something, when we were growing up, our parents put us into Irish dancing, first of all, just to have a bit of Irish culture growing up. It was really important for us to have that.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think they realized it would turn into our, full-time career. We were winning world championships, like you said. We were successful, and we auditioned for Riverdance. We got in and we were touring the world. But mom and dad were really, they were really focused on making sure we had at least a backup plan. I think it was their plan A, to be honest. But we took our degrees. Sorry?
Yeah, I said, okay, so let's stop in that Riverdance for a second. Did you guys replace Flatly? Is that what happened? You just said, hey, Michael, you got old, and you got to go. Is that what happened?
I don't know. I don't know if we replaced Flatly, but we joined the troupe, both of us, which was a goal. And actually, at that stage, he had moved on to his own show, Lord of the Dance. So we've met him once, but very briefly. And
he was obviously a big inspiration to us as well, growing up as male Irish dancers. He was a huge inspiration to us, and he had made a career out of it, and it was definitely something that we wanted to follow. And so we were lucky enough to join the troupe, and then soon enough after that, we both became lead dancers, which was obviously a huge goal as well for us. Very rare for only 2 or 3 guys get to do the main lead role, and so very rare that both brothers got to be able to do the lead role. We got to tour America as the lead dancers, which was great, but then all of a sudden, that pandemic hit and everything came crashing down. So at that moment, we were certainly happy we had our degrees, because we thought, well, looks like Riverdance might be over now and we might have to go get our degrees. But we also saw an opportunity to just, the word, going back to that word joy that you talked about. We thought, the world might need a little bit of joy right now, and we don't want to stop dancing yet. We were only, early 20s. We have plenty of years left in the dancing boots. So let's just start posting videos online. And we just started posting videos to kind of modern music. So, you mentioned Smooth Criminal there. That was one of our first mega hits online. And that's kind of where the Gardiner Brothers, we always danced together. We always performed at weddings and events together. But that was where the Gardiner Brothers, the business, really started to bloom, I suppose.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. So let's talk a little bit about the youth movement, right? You're going to go, and by the way, who's the civil engineer?
I am.
Matthew. So So Matthew, I got to think that you're the only civil engineer in the world with 1.5 million views, okay, on YouTube. So you might want to start laying that claim to fame on you. Okay? So architect, maybe there's somebody who's really designed something that everyone goes, oh man, Frank Lloyd Wright, we got some things, you might see some stuff, right? But so, when I think about my time in Ireland, while short, was, man, such a tribute to the games, the culture of Ireland. It's very important to the people, and it's part of the freedom trail, right? It's part of hey, I don't know if you know or not, but we segregated and we brought our stuff back, and when we brought it back, we're never letting it go again. And I thought that was really inspirational, because everyone has those prideful moments in your country, right? We have the Olympic Games. We're all watching the World Cup now, right? We're all fired up watching everything. And you can just see, how crazy it gets when the countries are all on the line and everything, man. They're just breathing in every moment, right? It's amazing. And Ireland breathes in their culture, their dance, their sport, their, the things that are their beer. And so the things that they have, man, it's really important, and the people value it. It's really something to honor from the outside looking in.
Yeah, I think you've really hit on something special there. And I think, something that's made us so proud as, Irish people who have had the privilege of getting to travel the world and tour the world. Any city you go to, there's always going to be an Irish bar, and there's almost always Irish music and sometimes Irish dancing. But what makes us so proud about that, we've actually thought a lot about that in depth, and we actually speak about it now. And even in terms of legacy and, togetherness and all, the Irish culture has been so important to us for, thousands of years. We had a very storied history. The Irish, obviously, we were, ruled by England for quite a long time. And I think the culture was they tried to strip that away from the Irish. But I think it's when you start to lose something that you hold on to it more. And I think the Irish really, really started to value their language, their music, their dance, their sport, everything you just mentioned there, even their Guinness as well.
Yeah.
But it was, it's obviously a big part of all of our lives, and we're all so proud about it. And I think that's something that's really special about Irish people. We love, sharing, and something that's really special as well about the Irish culture is that everybody's getting involved. It's like, nobody's excluded. Let's get everybody involved here. This is a lot of fun. Let's just have as many people on the dance floor as possible. And
there's a huge community foundation too.
It's about community
to Ireland and being Irish, and it's really in our DNA. And just to add on to that, it's almost like more than just it was things that maybe were being taken away from the Irish. It was the only thing they had.
Yes.
So they had to hold on so strongly to their dance, to their music, to their storytelling, to their arts, all that stuff. So
it kept them Irish.
Yeah. And it's just such a foundation for those people now.
Yeah, what was really cool in my experience over there was, one, I went to the highest, Irish pub in the country, right? Which is like, it's like 270 years old or something, right? Like, US history, we just turned 250, like, how many weeks ago? Like a couple weeks ago, right? And so this place is older than that. The pub's older than that. And they're like 7th generation, right? And I met I met like the 9th generation guy, like the kid at the pub that night. It was crazy. It has changed hands out of the family now, but that was interesting. And of course, the first night I was in, I went to the Irish pub for fish and chips, man. Like, this is what you do. You go get what they deliver. You're going to go get. So you go get fish and chips with a pint of Guinness, and you're like, hey, I've arrived. This is the real thing. This isn't some Americanized trash. Like, this is actually the real goods, man. I got to tell you, the fish and chips they tasted like nothing I've ever had in America. Like, they were
probably the freshest you'll ever have.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And I was like, bang. This is great, and it was amazing. And I don't usually eat greasy food, so you got I had to do it, so it was great.
There you go.
Well, when in Rome, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Rome, Ireland, wherever. Yeah. So, all right. So, you guys have really set up because the business is now based in Nashville, Tennessee. You've established that you're in the music capital of America. You're centralized. The opportunity, you are in the land of opportunity. We're grateful to have you here. And this is people you're consistently educating and bringing this lesson of innovation and creativity to them. And we talk a lot about systems because the real art of Irish dance is really a system, right? And we were just talking about it offline about the systems these teams have in the World Cup. Like what system are they running? And what system we were running in MLB to get to a world championship in the World Series and try to win that thing. And so, and in businesses, of course, with Bloom, I'm running systems and I'm overlaying their businesses with these systems so they get freedom, they get accountability, they get prioritization, they get all these things, and visibility is a big deal. In your message, you talk a lot about this, and one of the big lessons I got out of it was I never feel innovative and I never feel creative. Like, I feel like I was born without those two genes, right? Like, I got other genes. I'm really fast. I'm athletic. I have great hand-eye coordination. Like, all these other skills, and God said, oh yeah, those two, yeah, we're gonna cut you out on those, Trent. We gave those over to Matthew and Michael because they're actually gonna do something with it. You're only gonna hurt the team over here, Trent. So, yet, man, as a business owner, those systems have had to be developed. They weren't like, oh, I'd like to. They were requirements for success. Talk to me about how you develop that and how you keep educating people on that.
Yeah, well, I mean, you've touched on something really important there, and like, just to go on the overall arc is like, Matthew and I, as Irish dancers, we started to learn this creativity, through choreography as young lads. We were just taught, I don't think we necessarily would have thought we were creative people either. We were the guy that raised the hand in class when he said, I'm not a creative person. We raised our hand for that. But slowly but surely through this process of, learning how to choreograph, how to put together a step, how to, become a champion, we started to realize, okay, well, now we know how to put together some steps, and we, to taking the humble hat off here for a second, we became some of the best choreographers in the Irish dancing world.
Yeah.
But then we started realizing, throughout the pandemic, well, how can we help others, use this lesson in their life? Because we had figured out the system for being innovative. So our system for that is acting on beat, thinking off beat. You have to understand your on beat, which is your product, your systems, your goals. Mm-hmm. And then your off beat is that kind of different way of thinking. Like, how do you sneak into the in between? How are you thinking slightly differently? It's a system that you can put into place, but it's just something that has to be practiced. And so a lot of people, would say, I'm not the innovative type. I wasn't, God didn't give me the creative gene. Well, we would say, you just haven't been taught how to, you haven't been given the tools. And so as Irish dancers, we were given the tools. We were taught slowly but surely how to become a creative dancer. So why can't you use that in everyday life? And why can't you use that in your business?
Yeah, and it took us a while, I guess, to figure that out, that's what we were actually doing in dance. And then when the pandemic hit and it started to turn into a little bit more of a business for us, we started to see these reflections of, this isn't just happening in dancing. This is happening in the start of our business now as well. We can see this happening, the offbeat, the more creative things, the things that level it up from good to great. But then the onbeat, the structure, the process, the systems that are keeping the whole thing churning over, day in, day out. So you need both.
You need both.
And you need to have a relationship between both of them. So that's been a really incredible journey for us to figure that out. And we're really passionate about that and passionate about equipping people and unlocking that with them as well,
Yeah. And that's just what kind of really flourished or pushed us into that speaking world is, okay, well, we were lucky enough to be taught these tools and to be given these tools by our dance teachers and our coaches. And, we went and we won some world titles and we were successful in that era. How can we have an impact with others, to help them learn those lessons that maybe a slightly easier way, instead of having to go through those kind of wins and losses? How can we have an impact on others and kind of extract the lessons we learn, similar to what you do, extract the lessons you learn from winning a world title, winning a World Series into, winning at business or winning at life or, becoming an innovator.
Yeah, I really think there is formulas for winning ways, right? And you guys have really hit on this way of man, people don't think they're innovative, but you start getting those 10,000 hours in and all of a sudden they're innovating because sometimes it's required. And when people go onto your site and they see, these familiar songs that they would never equate to Irish dancing, right? They're thinking hey, listen, I probably most people equate either to the radio, to things that were happening in the music in their lives, they're transformed or transcended into those moments, or they're transcended into the music videos were for a long time, right? You had MTV and they said, oh, this is the music video of Michael Jackson, who made that so famous, right? But now, man, you think about the breadth of your work of we got Michael Jackson, we got the Bee Gees, we got Eminem. You guys are coming at it from some angles. So, we're all waiting on some Neil Diamond. So, if you can pull all that off.
Let's go.
Ready?
Yeah, let's do it. We love Neil Diamond. Listen to him since we were a kid. So that's actually, he's a guy we've never done. So
yeah, that's a new one.
Who doesn't love Neil Diamond, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, you guys need to. Listen, you got 1 billion views out there just waiting when you hit that Neil Diamond audience right there. Right?
Yeah, we've got to hear without Neil Diamond, so we're sky's the limit.
It's all blue water out in front, bro. Smooth sailing, man. This is gonna be great. So, all right. So let's talk about you refine the talent with the music, right? The music paints a picture. The music transcends us and transforms us and transplants us into an era that we like, that we remember, that we have familiarity to. But we're seeing this thing that's kind of no match, right? We're not ready for this kind of dancing with this because we're expecting Michael with one glove, what do you mean Smooth Criminal, right? Wait a minute, what's up with the shoes? What's up with the shoes? What's up with the clicking? So yeah. So talk to me about what's been the response from your audience?
Well, I think even the way you just described it there, it's almost like a disruptor. you know, seeing that kind of dancing that a lot of people might not have seen before.
Yeah.
Seeing that to Michael Jackson or to Eminem, and it's kind of putting together these two things that don't really make sense. But again, it's like, why don't they make sense? And it kind of draws you in, and then that helps us tell a part of the story. You know, so during the pandemic, again, like to go back to that moment, it was just like for us, we were trying to bring joy to the world, trying to challenge ourselves. What can we dance to? Is there anything we can't dance to? Let's try and figure that out. I think being that disruptor, like even within that music, has been great. But I think even more than that, I think being able to connect like different cultures, different backgrounds, different people through this music and dance has been just phenomenal, because we've been allowed to like promote the Irish culture in a way, and obviously build our business through connecting people. It's been,
and just to go in on that as well, because it's social media and it's virtual, it doesn't always feel like we're connecting people as much.
Yeah.
But it really is connecting people. Like we did a video to I forget the exact name of it. It's a type of like Indian percussion music. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Almost like Bollywood music, I think.
Yeah.
And on that video, we can see the demographics came up from, you know, people in India were watching it, and that part of the world. So then they were being exposed to some Irish culture and vice versa. So that really is a connector, because we're connecting those two cultures or backgrounds through a piece of content. So that really is powerful in that way. Like, what else can you do with that kind of stuff? And then
and then in terms of the response from those people, it's you know, it's mostly positive. It's mostly, you know, oh my gosh, well, what can you do this one? Can you do my favorite song? Can you do this person's favorite song? And you know, so even to be able to have that positive impact on people, even just online, you know, is a phenomenal impact. We're very grateful to have that opportunity to be able to do that.
And then to bring it back to your question, when we do it on stage, you know, in person live, it's even more powerful. And it might be nostalgia, or maybe it's it's a memory that you might have with a certain song that we're dancing to, even though you might never have seen the actual dancing yet. It's very powerful, and it almost, when we're doing it in our keynote experiences, it almost makes people drop their shoulders and relax into it, and then we can, you know, hit them with that bit of impact for them to bring home, and it's really powerful.
You know, here in Michigan, we live this a little bit, man. You threw up your video with Eminem, and all of a sudden Detroit goes wildfire, right? Because they are all about Eminem and 8 Mile, right? Like, so like, it's like, man, Eminem, like, come on. And big following for him, right? And so you have this, but you know, you see that, and you'll have to follow that up with a Kid Rock, because then you'll just own Detroit from there on. You know?
Yeah, we need to do Kid Rock.
Maybe a little Bob Seger, maybe terrible Ted Nugent. You know, like you've got a couple of the big Michiganders, and you'll own the whole state. So, but like, you know, you could see like, you know, something off the kilter of like, you know, an Italian opera, right? And you're like, oh, this is so moving and so passionate. Wait a minute, you're combining it with Irish dance? Like, what? Like, you know, it's kind of these mind-blowing moments that people just like, wow, I don't see it, but now that I've seen it, I can't unsee it.
Yeah, it's something that people didn't know they needed to see.
Yeah. And I dig that, right? I dig that. I dig that when you see someone do so, you know, and I'm kind of reminded with you guys of like, you know, way back in the day, right? You got the high jump, and everyone's going over the high jump forward. And then there's this Fosbury guy, and he starts running up with his back to the bar, and he's like, throws himself up over with his neck and does this leg kick flip thing over, and everyone's like, hey man, what the heck was that? Like, no one's ever gone over 6.5 feet. And this guy just went over 7 feet, man. And he's like got this style. And like, you know, in 2 years, everyone's doing the Fosbury flop. Like, no one even does it the old way anymore, right? They're like, oh, that was the stupid way, man. Like, I don't know what you guys don't know. Like, we all do it this way now. And so it's like these changes that people don't know until they see it. The other one is the 4-minute mile, right? No one will ever run a 4-minute mile. There's no human. And then Bannister runs it, right? Roger goes. And then I think 64 people did it within a year after that, right? But no one in the world could ever run a 4-minute mile. Like, there wasn't a human made possible to do that until Roger proved it was possible. right?
It-
So I think
it's
this is the ground. I think this is the ground you guys are innovating on. Like, I think you're showing people what's possible, and I think what's happening with our social is that the world just got a lot smaller, right? Our
yes.
cultures got more ingrained. We're all in it, and I think it's fun when, one of the things I do. I don't know if you guys have this thing, but one of the things I do, I've been in, I think, like 37 countries. The one thing I've done in every country,
What?
McDonald's.
Oh,
Oh
Because you know
yeah.
what?
yeah.
It's like Americana, and I want to know: can I get a quarter pounder with cheese? Does it taste the same in Amsterdam, in New Delhi, in Paris? Wherever I'm at, right? I want to know: does it taste the same? And you know what? Pretty much
It
does,
does.
Yeah, it
right?
does. I think the only difference about the McDonald's in like Germany is that you can get a beer with it.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Which makes McDonald's way better, by the way. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's awesome. So, okay, let's talk about one thing most people don't know about you. You guys have grown up, done this. What's one thing most people don't know about you, Michael?
Well, we're not twins.
Yeah.
A lot of
That's a
people
big
think
one.
we're twins. Yeah, we get that all the time. I mean,
Every day.
we're basically wearing the same thing again. So we don't, do any
Maybe
favors
you
for
get,
ourselves.
yeah, I mean, I'm glad that you don't have Matthew and Michael shirts on. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, we should just
Yeah.
wear name tags. But another one I would add in there is maybe that not everyone knows that we were actually born in Denver, to two Irish parents. So obviously we're Irish. Our parents are both Irish. Our whole family is from Kilkenny and Sligo, and then we grew up in Galway. But we were born in Denver. I lived there until I was 7. Michael was 10 when we moved back to Ireland. So we're rooted in cowboy western culture as well.
Yeah, big Broncos fans. Sorry to say.
Yeah. No, it's good, man. Couple titles there. So yeah, I mean, it's yeah, I think that's really cool. I think that people don't know that, like, hey, how that works, and growing up and being parents, being children of immigrants, right, who have come to a country. They're a long way from home. I went through a little bit of this in pro ball, where you move so far away from home and you know nobody. Like, you don't know,
Yeah.
like, and your parents are like going, who's going to watch our kids? We just like to go out on a date night. I don't know who to trust. We got to establish some friendships. Is it the church? Like, where do you get ingrained? And maybe it's people from work, but like, you just like to go out and have a burger themselves, and they can't go, like, I don't know where we're going to leave the kids. Like, you don't know
Yeah.
anybody.
Yeah.
When you're in Kilkenny and you have, like, hey, 50, extended family, it's like, hey, can you watch the kids? And sure, no problem. Grandma, grandpa, everybody's there. It's a very different. It's a very different way. Now tie that on to a very different culture, a very different way that people kind of view things, and they're going to do things a different way. And there's a different monetary system, and there's just so many things there. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think, honestly, that's one of the reasons why Mom and Dad put us into Irish dancing in the first place, is because they wanted to, obviously they were new in the country, and they did the usual, like, they came out, Mom got an amazing job, and her job got her a visa, so they were like, yeah, let's go out for 1 or 2 years, let's see what it's like. And then they fell in love with this country.
Yeah.
And instead of staying for 2 years, they stayed for 16 years, had a whole family. But a big part of that for them was, how are we going to get ingrained into the the community, and obviously along with the church. But they decided to get into Irish dancing, and then there was this whole Irish community in Denver, which you wouldn't really have thought, but there was a big Irish community there, and we ended up making family friends for life. We're still in touch with them. In fact, one of the family ended up marrying our older sister, so we're actually now family, which is amazing. But it's one of those things that Mom and Dad found the Irish connection in Denver, because that's what they would have done at home, was needed to find their community and needed to find their people. And thank goodness they were very welcoming in Denver. It was a beautiful community, and we have very fond memories from there as well.
Yeah, I really liked your point about everywhere in the world there's an Irish pub, right? I really love that.
Yeah.
I really love that
everywhere.
point. Yeah, and for me, there's a McDonald's everywhere in the world, which is not
Exactly.
but like, it's not the same quality, but recognizable, yeah, on a major scale. So,
Certainly.
all right, like, let's talk a little bit about For you guys, you continue to advance. Why choose Nashville? Why was that a good central place for you guys? Why did you feel like that was the place that really you guys needed to settle?
Well, honestly, we had considered a few different cities. Obviously, take us as content creators first. We were considering LA. We were considering New York.
Yeah,
obviously, huge Irish population in Boston and Chicago as well. Great cities. And then on the East Coast, it's a little bit closer to home in Ireland. But then we were over here doing a few events, corporate things, and people just kept recommending Nashville, and you should check out Nashville. And we had on tour already. When we were touring with Riverdance, it was one of our favorite cities. It's obviously a fun city. We had just passed through for a couple of days. So people just kept saying, you should check out Nashville. It's a young, creative hub. There's some agents there. It's really starting to boom right now. There's a lot of performing arts, music, all this kind of stuff. And we're country music fans anyway, so that helped.
It sits into our niche there, as creators and performers in the corporate and speakers in the corporate sphere now. It kind of really sits into our niche. But there is something kind of almost Irish about it, which is amazing. We're surprised at how small the Irish community is. I do think it's going to grow here in Nashville because everybody has been so welcoming, and so they're just in love with their culture here, their music, their dance, and it's been an amazing move for us. And thankfully, both of our girlfriends also came over. They visited. They liked it enough. I think they liked us enough, so they decided to move over as well. So thank goodness.
Yeah.
And actually, at the time, just to add in there, at the time we were deciding we were 80% swayed towards Nashville, and then we got back after a trip and we landed into Dublin Airport. And there was a literal sign on the wall that said, new flight launching, Aer Lingus flight direct from Dublin to Nashville. So it wasn't just a sign, it was an actual sign in front of us. And we got to work, we collaborated with Aer Lingus to launch that flight and promote it on our social media. So between all of that, it just felt like the right choice, and we've loved it so far.
Loved it.
Yeah, I mean, from the standpoint of what you're doing, and having to be audience facing, central location's great, right? Because you can get out and get back, and you're from Nashville, you're probably not more than 2.5 hours anywhere in the continental states. So you have a real easy kind of out and in, which is nice. I know, people start valuing when you're in this game of performance and all these things, you really value your own bed, because you're like, man, I love the Marriott, but I can only do 200 nights a year. I like, come on, man. So it's like, so you start valuing, like, man, I could get back, and especially as you're trying to grow a family and progress to the next thing for your personal lives. I think that's really important. The one thing that most people don't know about me is that I was actually a song and dance troupe guy from the time I was like 5. So
no way.
So I'm the guy, like I was the jock that I didn't want to tell anybody I was in Glee Club, right? Because that's what I was
doing.
No way.
Yeah. No, and those were like two worlds, like you don't, like West Side Story, man. Like, whoa, like let's separate it out, right? Like you can't be.
So we need to collaborate sometime. Then we need to get you singing a song for us, man.
No, we don't. No one needs that. But yeah, I maybe I will learn some steps. I'll have to. But let's get in to talk about let's talk about the business of the Gardiner Brothers, right? People love to have you guys in. You have a very sticky message. There's a long-term play. You're educating people, about this beat, about how the flow of work is happening, about how you're moving in and out of systems to create value. I mean, by the way, it feels like that civil engineering can kind of come into play. It feels like that architecture, that education that you've got. There's some application here from both of your worlds that kind of come in and overlay on this thing a little bit. In addition to all the hours in the dance studio, working, and the innovation side on that, it's really coupled together pretty well.
Yeah, I think you're dead right. I think like we've been so lucky that our entire background has led us kind of to this point, and there's no way we'd be here without having done those degrees in civil engineering or architecture. I think that really taught us. It's funny that we might never use that, as I might not ever practice as an architect, or Matthew might not practice as an civil engineer, but there's no way we would have been able to create our business now and think the way we do and work the way we do and have the systems and goals and processes without those. It's just so interesting, because obviously there's a certain amount that we learned as dancers, about, winning titles and perseverance and, even like the innovative side. But the systems, I think, really came from, the architecture and engineering side. And we're big, we said it before, we started recording there, we're big systems guys, and it taught us so much about it. So we're very grateful to our, our parents for really pushing that side of things, really pushing our butts into college and making sure we succeeded at every level. Couldn't have done it without them.
Yeah, if people don't understand those degrees and understand the dance, when they're innovating, from my view, they're starting with the end in mind and then breaking that back into the steps and the process of what has to happen, which is the architect. You get the vision. Oh, this is what we want. Oh, great.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how we make that happen, because we got to start with the foundation, and then we're gonna step this thing up into your beautiful 5,200 square foot home and how that looks, or your office building, which is great. Civil engineering, very similar. The fact that, this is how we want to design, X amount, like X our town. This is what we need. We need to stripe this out, numbered streets, da 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 da. And we're gonna grid this thing. This is where our expectation. This is our mass transit. How will that work? What's the end goal? Because this is a challenge right now in Nashville, right? Nashville's done this big. So the old civil engineer here in Matthew's going like, wait a minute, like, hey man, you're adding too many people and you're outgrowing your system, right?
Yeah.
So the civil engineering is a problem. A challenge.
Yeah.
Yes.
In Nashville, and it's a challenge that's going to have to be solved if it keeps going at this pace.
Yeah, it seems like they're almost playing catch up at the moment here in Nashville. Yeah. There's cranes everywhere right now, which is, generally a good sign. But as long as they have the people to fill those places, which, it seems like they do. But yeah, it does seem like so many people came here and they're almost playing catch up. So hopefully they're following their engineering principles correctly and they're doing it right, because that wasn't always the case in Ireland. There's a couple dodgy buildings in Ireland.
Well, and I think that's I love it when you're in Amsterdam, right? They're leaning against each other, right? Like,
literally.
It's 600-700 years later. So in fairness, it's still standing, right? Which is good.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's a hard thing for us Americans to quantify, like how long that's been going on. Pretty cool to be in the old country and go into a church that was built over 3 generations, 100 years, and you're like, holy crap, this is like 2,400 years ago this thing was done, and you're like, whoa, this is a different level of architecture that you have to appreciate, and so it's very cool, and I think we laugh about Nashville because the crane must be the new state bird of Tennessee, because they're everywhere, right? Because it's growing fast, right? Growing so fast that you just see it. And to your point, Matthew, good recognition. Everyone's seeing innovation, growth, and they're measuring how many cranes are there, right? And they're tying that directly with economy. How are we doing? All those things. It's a benchmark and a KPI that I think our American cities have always used, and Canadian cities as well. I can remember being in Toronto, probably about a decade or so ago, and just going, man, everywhere I turn, there's another crane, man. It's just like buildings are just going up like wildfire, and the traffic is already crap. What are they going to do, man, when they just add another, 400,000 homes downtown? Because you'll never get there from the airport. They better figure something out.
I know, it's definitely it's those problem solvers.
Yeah, we'll tell you an Irishism really quick. There was obviously the boom in Ireland, and then it crashed after that. But when people say in Ireland the boom is back, it's because of the amount of cranes that they see up in Ireland right now in the city over the past couple of years. Yeah. So when people say, the boom is back, that means, the economy's doing better. So the boom is back here in Nashville. Yeah.
Yeah. The boom is back. I love it. And I was really surprised. I mean, pleasantly, like, where you guys performed at right there at the conference center right there in Dublin. And man, the river and the American companies, big names that literally have set up shop in Dublin really surprised me. It was pleasant to see that they have really invested in that. And people talk about the investment in Dublin is around innovation.
Yeah. It is. And Ireland are very lucky that, they have a low corporate tax rate. So a lot of those American companies are jumping in there right now, and it's really helping a lot of the inner city in Dublin. We think anyways, especially now, like that area that we were performing in that you just mentioned, like 10 years ago, like maybe 80% of that didn't exist.
Yeah, and even further back than that, like before we moved, people would tell us, our parents would tell us, and we've heard from many people that it would be an area, that was definitely underdeveloped.
Yeah.
And now it's just incredible. You have Meta there, you have Google, you have apartments, So
the old adage, like don't go in after dark kind of place, that kind of thing. Like,
yes,
like
potentially
hey,
that kind of
place. Yeah, that's an area you just need to stay out of after dark.
And now it's the opposite.
Oh yeah, I appreciate that. You see that regentrification, like in American cities too, and you realize, like, man, the foundation's great, and there's a reason why people started there, right? The river, the highway. You got accessibility, and you're near the whole area of downtown, and why wouldn't we have developed this? Like, they let it go to garbage, and then all of a sudden we got to rebuild it back. And like you said, the boom is back, baby. Boom is back.
Yeah, let's go.
So that's awesome. So let's talk about last thing here is, one of the things you guys talked about the Irish connection, right? But you guys have really mastered connection through experience. In EO, you guys perform for the Entrepreneurs Organization, and they have that oil statement, that once in a lifetime experience. And I think we've become a little junkies. We're all like looking for that one thing we haven't seen yet, we haven't done yet, because if you stay in it a while, you do a lot of really cool stuff, man. And so you get very used to the risk, you get very accustomed to it, and it gets fun. And fortunately, bad things don't usually happen, but it's really cool to experience all these people, these talks, the innovation. But you guys have taken your craft and brought this into experiences. How do you keep building on that for people?
Well, I think that's kind of one of our that's kind of our North Star is creating experiences for people and connecting them through that experience. So I think it's something that's constantly driving us, but also as innovators, it's like, how do you continue to build on that? So I think something that's big for us right now is online. Something that we're seeing a lot on online is, and maybe you've noticed this as well, maybe your listeners and viewers notice this, that you're starting to not be able to tell what's real anymore. You're swiping through social and you're like, is that real? I don't know. That doesn't look real. And even like sport games, you're starting to see, fake controversies come up, and it's actually AI. And it's like, yeah, look, he fouled him. No, that's actually a fake video. So I think what's really important for us, and I think we're very lucky that we're coming into our prime right now in this moment, is that people are really going to be looking forward to real experiences. And how do you create a really, really, like, I know it kind of sounds silly, but a real experience in person. And so what we love to make happen, and what we're really leaning into more now, is not just people to see something. We want people to see it, we want people to feel it, and we want people to actually do it. So a lot of like what we're trying to do is get people involved in the dance somehow. How do we get people to, see it, feel that nostalgic, they're dancing to the Bee Gees or Michael Jackson or whatever, but then maybe get them clapping along. How do we get them involved in this? How do we make sure that they go home with this being a real experience? Certainly not something that's AI on stage. Like, obviously that's not happening, but people are going to be reaching out for real experiences going forward, because the more and more we look online, and how much time do we spend on our phones now? And how much of it is fake? Yeah, exactly. And how much of it can we actually say, is that a real video? Is that not a real video? And so how do we make it real to people?
I have a suggestion for you guys. And you're right there. You're literally living on the edge of this, which is, and I've talked a lot about this in shows, especially recently in interviews, is that, the quality I really want kids to get today is discernment. Is the discernment of, who the people you should be with. Is this real or is this good? You know, when I was a kid, you guys probably aren't old enough. Like, is it live or is it Memorex? You know, they were like playing the audio clips, right? And it was like, oh,
Yes.
is this live music or this recording is so good you can't even tell that you are not at the jazz club, you know? And it was cool. And when I think one of the things you guys can show through your skill is the discernment of like, this is this quality that you guys have, and what it sounds when it's not quality. It's not bad. It's not terrible, but there's a level of like where the pros live at this level of quality and discernment that they will not lower the quality because they can't do it, right? And they know the difference. And there's only 1.5% of the world that know the difference between the top. You know, I'm a hockey guy, right? And so every once in a while we'll have a minor league guy who just got out of the league come back and play. He's 31 years old, and I mean, he plays like, you know, like he's McKinnon, you know, from Colorado. Like you're like going, I don't know. He just lit us up for like 9 goals. He did anything he wants out here. Like he's amazing. And we're like going, how could you not make the NHL? And he's like going, oh man, my hands are this. I'm not that. My hands and my feet aren't this fast. Like he knows exactly the 5 or 6 qualities that are just 3-4% behind the other players, but added up in total, it's like, oh, I'm a mile away from these guys. And
Absolutely.
You're like, the naked eye, we don't see the difference between the 5x. But the interesting thing about your world is that you hear it, because your sound is a significant sound. And when it's bad, and you know, like music is like, hey, can we get on a beat here? Because this sounds like crap. like what's going on? And we also know that because we know our speaker systems, right? When someone throws up like heavy treble, heavy bass, and you're like, who put all the bass in this music? This sounds like crap.
Totally.
We can start saying, but that's our level of discernment, right? Because we know there's too much bass in that. We know there's not enough bass in that. So as you guys craft that, I think you have an ability to teach discernment to people about quality and what's real and what's not. Because AI is going to start, it's going to start bridging this gap between reality. Is it live? Is it Memorex, right? Because they're putting all these videos. And our kids, man, like, should I listen to Matthew and Michael who have all these experiences and life experiences, or should I listen to this YouTuber who once saw an Irish dance, like, and he's the critic? And you're like, you don't know how to do it. You don't know how to teach it. You've never actually done it. Yeah, but like, got a great YouTube channel, man. And you're like, yeah, but you shouldn't listen to that one. But they don't know that. They don't have the discernment because it looks good. Is that fair?
Love that. I love that. That's
I think that's really interesting. I mean, there could even be something that we could do sometime where we show a purposely incorrect version and then show the quality version back to back to show that to people, you know, something like that.
Well, what's easy with you guys is you guys have a lot of film on you guys. You guys at 17, you guys at today. 17, you guys are great. You guys were good. And you look back at that and go, oh my God, look at us. We were awful.
Yeah.
Like, look what we're doing here. How did we even wear that on stage? What the hell were we thinking? like, and you're like going, man, but you were 17, right? Like, you're like, listen, I don't know. We actually won that competition, by the way.
Yeah, we were just trying our best.
yeah, right? We went out and did our best, but now we know, and we've also been trained by the better and the best. And we went to these levels and we got the training to be at that top level. And now you're passing that on to other people. And I think there's a big gift there to pass on that you guys have.
Yeah, so true. I think so too. Yeah, that's great.
Like, trying to write these notes down here. It's great, Trent.
Yeah, let's get some notes. All right, so guys, I love it, man. I love it. Anything you guys want to share with the audience before we go? I first of all, tell them where they can find your YouTube channel, where if they want to book you guys and talk about the Gardiner Brothers coming in for an event that they're talking about and would love to have you, where can they find you?
Yeah, well, you can find us. Our website is just www.gardinerbrothers.com. All the Gardiners are with an I, Gardiner with an I. And then our social media is just Gardiner Brothers across everything.
Yeah, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube.
And yeah, we're performers, content creators, speakers. We're really passionate about speaking on innovation, connection, collaboration. And, you know, we're just really excited to be here in the land of opportunity, speaking with companies, working with companies.
Giving people real experiences.
Exactly. Yeah.
Let's go.
And giving them moments to remember long after the event. So, yeah, thanks for having us, Trent. It's been brilliant.
Of course, if you guys have not checked these guys out yet, you're going to want to check it out. You're going to want to check all the YouTube. You'll get lost in this thing, so expect to lose a couple hours. And then also, you're going to want to see this experience live. And if you're not sure about it, all you have to do is check out their testimonials. People are raving about the Gardiner Brothers. They see it, and they get to experience it personally, and they can't stop talking about it. So if you want to do something different, mix it up, change your world, this is where you want to go. Right here, Gardiner Brothers, Matthew and Michael.
Appreciate it, Trent. Thank you.
All right, for everybody, Winners Find a Way every Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific, live on my Leadershipity YouTube channel, my Facebook Live, my LinkedIn Live, and of course, our podcast drops every Friday morning on all major networks. You can check that out. Pick up my book, Leading Winning Teams. You can also always, you can book 15 minutes with me. I am happy to talk with you about your business. There's my calendar. You can get on my business. I will talk to you about your business. I will give you a high quality 15 minutes. We'll get deep into the questions. And I will send you a free book on a playbook on exactly how you can start solving your challenges and how you can start prioritizing and holding your team accountable and building a whole nother level and build winning teams. It's crazy. So check that out. Do that. Until next time, we will see you as winners